What if the strongest boundary you'll ever set isn't one you say out loud? What if it isn't a rule or a line in the sand? What if the most powerful boundary is the one you draw inside your own mind? Because sometimes the real danger isn't what someone says to you, it's what their words become once they get inside your head. And sometimes the most life-changing boundary is this: if it isn't true, it doesn't get to live in my head. This is Annie's story, and I'm telling it for her. There was a time when Annie didn't know she was allowed to protect her inner world. No one ever taught her that her mind was sacred ground or that she could choose what was allowed to take root there. Like so many survivors, Annie wasn't aware that a boundary could exist in her mind at all. And truly, this kind of boundary almost never forms while a person is still in the storm. It's something we understand only later when we're finally safe enough to notice what's happening inside of us. One Sunday morning, Annie stood in the kitchen packing Bella's diaper bag for church. Santino walked in. He was irritated. He told her that she was taking too long to get ready and that she was selfish because of that, and she didn't know even how to be a good or an efficient wife. His words just didn't land. They sank. And the harm wasn't just what he said, it was what she believed she had to do with those words. She let them roam through her mind as though they were true. She didn't know she had a right to question them. She didn't know that she could say, that belongs to him, not to me. That's his problem, not my problem. Well, anyway, Annie suggested he go on to church ahead of her and Bella, but he insisted that they ride with him to church because it would look better if they all came in together. And Annie felt that familiar tightening in her stomach. Her instinct was to say no because now she feared he would speed or engage in some other dangerous tactic just to scare her, as he often would when they were in the car. But they went anyway with him. And again, she didn't know she had other options. She didn't know that she could recognize her own discomfort as information. She didn't realize or know that she could decline an invitation into chaos. Annie believed she had no boundaries because her husband wouldn't respect them anyway. But the truth was simpler. She didn't know she was allowed to have boundaries, inside or out. Only after she left him did she begin to understand all of this. And the very first boundary she ever truly set was the one inside her own mind. Many people think boundaries are things that we say to people, but the deepest, most protective boundary begins in our own head. And let me say this gently. This is not something that I think most survivors can do while they're still living in the abuse. Internal boundaries grow slowly and over time, often long after the storm has passed. There's no expectation here. I want you to understand that. There's no pressure. There's no just do this. Only awareness and compassion. Oh, because I think awareness is where healing begins. You create emotional safety by noticing what you allow into your inner world. If it isn't true, You are allowed to question it. You don't have to evaluate it as though it might be real. You don't have to carry it. If it's someone else's opinion, you're allowed to leave it with them. Their thoughts do not define you. Their words do not become your identity unless you let them. And no one learns that truth instantly. If the scripts in your mind come from years of survival, you're allowed to replace them slowly, one truth at a time. And here's the second time I want to say this because it matters so much. Mental boundaries may not even show up during your chaos. They may form later with safety, distance, support, and time. No one's expected to master this quickly. Awareness alone is steady healing. He didn't know any of these things, and so many survivors might not either. And none of that means that Annie was weak or they're weak or unaware. It simply means they were so deep inside the narcissistic relationship, they couldn't see it clearly, and no one ever taught them. Well, we're all learning now, and learning is enough. If someone's voice lived in your mind long after they left the room, if you've been fighting battles inside your head that were never yours to fight, if you didn't know you were allowed to protect your inner world, this one is for you. You are allowed to guard your truth about who you are. You're allowed to refuse the lies. You're allowed to build boundaries inside yourself, slowly, gently, and as safety returns to your life. You deserve that peace, and you always have. I'm Kyle Hackley, attorney, author of the book Undercurrent, and your host here. Annie's story is the story I tell so survivors don't have to explain their story all alone. You know, I'm now enrolled in a structured training program in narcissistic and emotional abuse. I want to continue to deepen the way I support this space. And I'm always learning, and I want to do that right alongside you. Thank you for being here and always showing up. And thank you for your comments. They bring so much to this space. I learn from your comments, and I know others do. And if nothing else, I hope we're validating each other. Until next time, please remember you are stronger than you ever knew. You are a warrior against narcissistic abuse, and you are tenacious, and you're never, ever going to give up on what's important to you. Till next time, take good care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Thank you.